controller. So that's getting repaired. Following that is just an overview of the lift station. One of the new pumps, it was just out of the hole that we can do a repair there to the force main. But we do currently have a bypass set up right there right now due to one of the pumps damage due to the controller failure. So we will, that pump we should have back beginning of next month.
I have 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
The unauthorized discharge, what pump was that?
What station?
Yeah.
Let's see here. We had an unauthorized at, I believe it was, I know we had one at Old Houston, we got Cleansville at lift station, overflow. And we also had one, I want to say it was at Ruby Street.
The reason why I asked is because on your report in February 26th, we had 3 unauthorized discharges to TCEQ due to mechanical failure. And it was Old Houston lift station was on there again. And so we also, in your report, it says working on Old Houston control panel warranty item. And we paid money, an amount of, we paid money to get it fixed, so it says lift station, it didn't say which one in the bill or invoice. And so I'm trying to find out, this month's invoice had lift stations being, substantial amount, over 24,000. And I'm trying to see, is it the same lift station? If we just replaced this, if we've been, we've been going through, every month we're going over we're paying additional money, and so trying to get in front of us to find out, like, what are some of the preventive things that we can be doing instead of, we shouldn't have discharge every month, and so are we doing what we need to do to make sure that we can go 1 month not paying so we can actually see some savings?
Absolutely. I think the month of March, you'll find that invoice is going to be substantially low compared to your February invoice. We're still doing a lot of cleanup from the insurance claims that we had in place, which is the Richards Road, which we finally got a check cut for that. So we're still dealing with TML and trying to get monies back into the city from insurance issues that we had. This one is a FEMA claim, and we also had, let's see, it was Ruby Road and Richards on the north side, and the water plant fall underneath FEMA as well. So, we're having to deal with TML, we're having to deal with FEMA, and when these stations fail, we come in and we try to retrofit them to keep them up and going best as possible until the original equipment is returned. A lot of times we have to go get rental equipment, and it's not going to be the same specs as the equipment that was in the lift station before. We try to match it up as close as possible, but a lot of these rental companies don't have the exact same equipment that we're using, so we have to get something that's close, as close as possible to put back at these sites. And then when a controller, like what's going on at the Old Houston lift station, we're basically working on a backup system, and we had to put in a bypass. So Greenfield has, just to give you a little history behind the way the lift stations work, Greenfield has 2 7.5 horse lift pumps in it right now. So Greenfield pumps to Old Houston, Men's pumps to Old Houston, and then you also have a possibility of some backflow from Ruby Road that can come into Old Houston. So, and then you have the elevation as well. So the force main is elevated, trying to pump upwards to try to get the flow out of the lift station. So when you have 2 pumps pumping on 1 pump, or actually 4 or 5 pumps pumping on 1 pump, you're going to stress that pump. So we try to lower our set points as low as possible, make that pump come on sooner to keep up with the flow. But it is an operational challenge, and so that's where some of these expenses occur. But like I said, this is all underneath FEMA, so the city will be reimbursed for these expenditures. Yes, sir.
This total that's in the blue, That's the total just for the month of February?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so when we look at the second page you gave us, and it talks about the monthly operations and maintenance for emergency operations, fire support, then there's that flat rate.
Yes.
What's included in that, under that flat rate? What work?
That is your compliance reporting. That is your basic facility check. That's an operator going out, logging in the facility, putting his eyes on the facility, making sure that things are operating. If something's broke and we have to fix it, we have to call maintenance out there, that's time and material. So that's outside of your regular base monthly operations. But let's see if I have a copy of the emergency contract. But in the emergency contract that we have with the city of Prairie View, yeah. So it states here, the scope of services we have identified is as follows: provide operations and/or operations oversight of your water production and distribution systems in accordance with TCEQ regulations 7 days a week. Any additional services will be invoiced at the rates below in the standard schedule of rates. Okay. Provide water compliance reporting for all monthly, quarterly, and annually regulatory reports as required by TCEQ. So those are the two items listed, scopes of services listed, that rolls up underneath the monthly based services. Anything outside of that is time and material.
And those figures and those rates are included in this document that you're looking at?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Ms. Dickey, can we get a copy of that contract? Okay, thank you.
The reason is, just like you know, that we have, we know we had hurt with Harvey and there was an impact to our lift stations. But we also noticed that we play a fat rate, which is the 3,000, that covers reporting. Every month we've had the discharge, we've had some lift station improvements, and we're saying we're trying to see, well, what is the basis of how much should our monthly in public works be, right? So that's why I asked you, when are we gonna start mapping out now? So if we had Servit and Trent, then we brought it in-house, and now with USW, we should see some continuation we should see like some break even, meaning some of the investments that we've made, over $150,000, I think we've paid over the last 2 months for work that was happened at the end of the year. We should start to see, we shouldn't be still replacing those or fixing up on. Now, I know things happen, but we want to see some efficiency. And so, hopefully we get to an opportunity where we can have that dialogue. I don't know if we need to set up a workshop or when's an opportunity for you to come out and really allow us to wrap our arms around this, right? Because last meeting, we had issues with Richards Road. Well, Richards Road is a big development proposed on that property. And so if we have issues in the development that's not even there, what's gonna happen when it comes? And so we wanna have that conversation to see, how do we start planning out our next budget to make sure that we
Right. I completely agree with everything you're saying. When we were brought in to take over the operations for the city of Prairie View, there was probably one lift station that had all the equipment. That was Owens Road, that had all of its equipment and didn't have any type of operational issues at the time. So we were already with our backs up against the wall trying to figure out where equipment was located, to get the equipment back in as soon as possible. How can we assist the city and financially, and what facilities can this be? Insurance claims, and then right after the insurance claims, we were hit with Hurricane Harvey. So we had two catastrophic kind of events going on at the same time. One was the city's facilities were already down, and no one knew what to do, basically, and we had to come in and assist with that. And we handled all the insurance claims for the city, which is also kind of unusual. That's a task that's usually taken on by the city, but we opted to help you all out and assist you guys in that. And then we had the catastrophic event with Hurricane Harvey. But right now, all the facilities are up and running at 100%, except for Old Houston. That's why I said March would be very quiet. I talked to Byron before I came here to the meeting, and he was like, it's quiet out there, boss, nothing's going on. And I said, that's great, that's what I want to hear, because I know how frustrating it is to see, every month, it seems like y'all keep paying out, but I can rest assured, money is also coming in from insurance claims and will be coming in from FEMA to replace the monies that have been spent. But we have met with the mayor and sat down and talked about different types of contracts that we can provide to the city, to help the city. So if the council would like to do a workshop, that's something that we can come back and sit down and talk about. All right?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Council reports. Councilman Williams.
Again, real quick, citizens, it's a pleasure to be able to serve you here in the city of Prairie View. As you know, with the Boy Scouts, we meet on the first and third Wednesday here at Prairie View City Hall. We have 2 scouts who are working on their Eagle Scout project. One scout is supposed to be, well, they're both doing projects here in the city of Prairie View, and so we want to support those scouts here in the community. One should be finishing their project by the end of April, and the other one should be finishing their project by the end of May. For those of you who do not know, April 19th at 6 to 8 in the auditorium of the Don Clark Building, the SGA and the Galva Series will be having a candidates forum. So make sure you come out. It'll be on campus from 6 to 8. It's on the April 19th for Thursday from 6 to 8. It's going to be in the Don Clark Building. And they're going to have, it's the Gala Series that they normally have where all candidates, and I think everybody receives something. Had the opportunity to go to an elected officials conference in San Antonio, and I just brought back some information to council as far as educational events, professional development webinars and things that they can go to or get online. Had the opportunity to go represent on campus and speak at the President's Roundtable. We also had the Legal Defense Fund here in the city of Prairie View. And I had the opportunity to talk to members of Omega Psi Phi at their regional conference in Houston this past Thursday and Friday about opportunities to come to the city of Prairie View for development. And also the Prairie View Chamber of Commerce will be meeting this month at this Thursday at 12 o'clock. Our guest speaker is David Aguilar from Republic Waste. And then also Thursday, we should, so Thursday at the Prairie View Chamber, the Greater Houston Black Chamber and SGA will be signing a memorandum of understanding on a partnership that will be happening on Thursday at the Senate Chambers at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So please come out. And then again, March 30th, Senate Chambers is in the MSC on the 2nd floor. And that's a partnership between the Prairie View Chamber, the Greater Houston Black Chamber in Houston, and SGA around internship opportunities with small businesses and getting engaged in small businesses opportunities. And then again, March 30th is Good Friday. Again, thank you for allowing me to serve. I also had the opportunity to go to the men's breakfast. Who the speaker for the men's breakfast was Chris Herring, who is the chairman of the Black Chamber in the state of Texas. Represents 23 chambers. Prairie View's chamber is one of those chambers, and so he had the opportunity to come to the big city and to talk about business development. Again, thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Good evening. I don't have anything to report, but what I do want to say is I just want to leave us with a little encouragement and want to remind us about God's grace. And just remember the same grace that God extended to us, we should extend to other people. And so remember that as we go on our day-to-day basis, because we can easily be in other places on a day-to-day basis. So always remember.
I'm pretty sure this is most of you guys have been waiting for. Greetings, my name is Kenji Jones. I serve the city as well as the university, as well as my great fraternity, Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I have a statement that I'll be sent to newspapers trying to counter at what was already put out, stated about me, and I address some things that I've been working on in the city as well. Every great leader has vices, which is all a part of being human. What makes a great leader is someone that can own up to their mistakes and learn from them. Recently, there has been information spreading about a regretful low moment in my life. At this moment in time, I'm here to say, after much prayer and meditation, I have learned from my mistakes. I now understand that everything happens for a reason, and I always ask God, what would He have for me to learn in each and every situation? I will not let this stand in the way of God's plans for me as I move to continue to let my light shine and do the work that I was elected to do. I would also like to apologize for my mistakes and actions and let down that I may have caused the city and ones that have my back and best interests at heart. Just a little story. After the situation occurred, I went to church, and the following Sunday, and it's crazy how, like people say, God's work in mysterious ways. I went to church and basically told a story about a blind man couldn't see, and God basically placed clay over that blind man's eyes. If you know, most people, if we were to put clay over our eyes, it would make us blind. So the blind man asked God, "What are you doing to me?" And He said, "Just be patient and wait." And over time, that blind man could see. So over time, things will be revealed to me. Quite don't understand. That I might not quite understand at this time, but it's things that got to happen in life in order for me to grow as a man and as a young male and to matriculate through college and as well through our life. So I'd like to apologize on my behalf for the negative attraction that I may have caused the city of Purview, as well as my beloved university, and as well as my fraternity that I serve. But in doing so, recently I just finished a partnership with Jones Elementary, being able to mentor and guide our next generation. That's finished over the next, over the next couple of months. We'll be doing things with the youth in our community, and as Councilman Brian Rowan said, on my other hat, SGA, we've been partnering up with the city as well as the Commerce, basically to make things happen for our next generation of leaders, so that way they'll be able to step out in life and lead their businesses and things of that such. One thing I would like to ask, plenty of you guys have children or friends in here. I'm pretty sure if they made mistakes, you guys wouldn't publicly like them to lash out or for people to bash them. So I ask that, you know, that you do the same to me, that you keep me uplifted in your prayers, because honestly, I care less about what you guys think about me. My mom needs the word to me. And the other day, when my mom got a phone call and basically seen the article that was put out and the statement that was put out about me, it made her cry, and I haven't heard her cry like that for a long time until she got into some recent trouble. And that's the person that I do everything for, as well as God. So I just ask that you uplift us in your prayers, and also, you know, keep the negative comments and concerns to yourself. Thank you.
Okay. Last week I attended the Commissioner's Court workshop on citizens' properties and homes that have been flooded several times. And the emergency manager coordinator for the county has started the paperwork to FEMA. And once all the deadlines are met and the forms are all in, the commissioners will meet and they will formulate an interlocal agreement that will be offered to all the cities within the county.
Anything else? You see the mayor's report.
I'm not gonna read it. I have two questions. I have two questions on the mayor's report.
He's not here to answer this.
Put this on the agenda. I can speak on it. So the two questions I have on the report, again, goes back to, again, something we had a presentation last meeting in reference to the development process. These new Panther Hill apartments that citizens, that Mr. Brown had in his comments, he had a question on in reference to, and I think many of us have questions for it as well. And so hopefully, we can get an opportunity for, the mayor and, city staff, Ms. Dickey, to kind of update us with, where we're at in the process. One of the questions, you know, I received all the information that was said that was had, which was only the application and a check. And so part of it is, the question is, has the city issued a permit for this development? That's question one. If question one is, the answer is yes, have the city engineer, has the fire department, and has all the people who sign off on our applications that we say have to sign off, have they signed off on that? The company has the ability to move, to move dirt. But if you drove by there, looked at that property, they're actually setting the base to set the foundation, which is a process that you need the permit for. And so we're simply asking as council, is like, before they, move any further, that we get all the information we need to make sure that we've, addressed the infrastructure, because that's one of the questions that we need to be.
Why don't you make that an agenda item so we can discuss it freely?
Well, it was asked,
I'm saying that way, I mean, because
the part of the reason is, when we made our agenda items asked last meeting, Vera Veritas, the engineer, was supposed to be at this meeting talking about it. And so the goal of what I'm trying to do is have documented
right,
that we've continued to ask.
If you do it in new business, because even if the mayor was here, he couldn't talk about the project in itself, all he could talk about was his report.
Gotcha.
So if you do it in new business and you ask for those specifications and it's in new business, then that's reflected in the minutes.
Well, I agree, but, on the new business, if you look at the minutes, my questions aren't on there, only yours are. So I'm just saying, I can't get it either way, so hopefully this time, in new business, my questions and concerns will be on there. I'm done.
Okay, number 4 on the regular agenda. Consider and take action on resolution 2018-23-0326 to complete forms for $350,000 SDBG Texas Community Block Grant for improvement to the sewer collection system and rehabilitate lift stations for the Alta Vista subdivision. Do you have that resolution?
There's a resolution in the packet.
Yeah, there's a resolution in the packet, and I have a question. Is Mr. from Public Works, where's? This is why we need. So my question on this issue, as many of you know, we got a grant from the Texas Department of CDBG funds, because we go through the Texas Department of Agriculture, for $350,000. The company that helped us with this was LJA. LJA Engineering was the company who helped us to be able to get this grant, along with the city from the state. The question was, I didn't know if we had to do a match, but part of the question is, what does doing this grant, how does this alleviate and tie into everything that the guy from USW just talked about as far as our system, looping our system? I know this is supposed to do change some of the piping and some of the infiltration we have, but this resolution just speaks to authorizing this speaks for authorization of the signatures, but like the resolution actually speaks to something else semi, and we don't have all the information. And so one of my requests was this all the information we needed to be able to approve this? Because the ordinance asks for signatures for the mayor to be able to have for the mayor and the city secretary to be able to sign to move forward on the grant. But what it reads is that we want to receive the money. Do we have all the information to be able to do this? Meaning that this was approved, maybe 12 months or 9 months ago, we approved LJ. So LJ Engineering, I don't know if I was all back on council, but they came in and they got this grant. It was identified where they were gonna have it. supposedly now, we draw from the money. So JJ, if I'm right, we don't get $350,000, we get a draw from the state, is that correct?
Right.
And so that means that we now are authorizing the city, all the names here, the mayor and the city secretary, to be able to execute on the contractual documents. But do we have all the documents to be able to make that decision, is what I'm asking.
Plus,
I mean, everybody whose name is on here.
Does it say who the grant coordinator is gonna be?
Nope, it just saying who, I mean, we know it's usually the mayor.
No, the grant coordinator will probably be LJ
It'd be a contract.
Engineering.
According to the
I don't see
supplement
it.
to this
Mhm.
here, it talks about how, if you have a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look at that, it talks about having to have all the documents and have done everything correct. And if we haven't, we gotta make sure we supplement. So if you read this document, this is about getting, resolution about getting signatures. This document talks about, how we should have already done all of that and have all the documents in place.
And that's what I'm asking about. We're,
So we shouldn't be signing anything
that's
if
what
we don't have it all in place. I'm assuming that if we're ready to sign, then things are in place, but I wasn't here for that. But that's what that's what this document says is attached to that document.
But do we have, again, the other thing is, are we on up against a timeline? Obviously, I figured the reason why this has come up is because it's a time-sensitive issue. But the question is, again, are we very clear on what we need to be able to vote on this issue, is that we need to make sure that all these are checked off, and then the mayor comes back and says, hey, council, you know, they asked for these 10 things, and these 10 things are done.
So what I'd say is you're only authorizing the signatures. You're to sign the documents. And the signature should only come about if everything is ready to be signed. If it's not, they shouldn't be signing them.
Well, I got a question. I don't know who can answer this, but why is the police chief and judge sign off on this?
I think they're on there because of vouchers. Now, I don't know how this particular resolution plays into this specific grant, and it is not notated like grant X, Y, and Z. But we do know that the judge was a point of contact with the state for Hurricane Harvey, and the chief was the FEMA person. So I think that those roles should have been put.
They should state that, and not, they shouldn't say police chief.
Well, no, that's
And
correct.
they shouldn't say the judge, it should state their title that has something to do with this particular resolution.
I'm agreeing.
He's the EOC and she's the contact person, that's what she stated.
Ms. Dickey, did you get that?
Absolutely can.
Do we know if there's a timeline when this has to be executed?
It was supposed to be signed in November.
Right. I knew. November, right? It's
It's too late now?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure we're up a deadline as far as this money. We can't, so if you look at this, I think when the engineering company was here and they said that they needed that they were doing the work. So the engineering company did the work, the scope, and sent it to the state. They got the contract. We were supposed to have been reviewed this. If we do not move on this, and this was due in November, where is the other thing saying that we're ready to, like, what we've done in the city? So this is from the state.
Right.
This is from council authorizing signatures. Where is it from the city saying we did these 8 things that were asked and we're ready now to spend money or go to bid or do these, or
It's
to
my
do the draw?
understanding that we got a grant letter. When you get a grant letter, a presentation, that means you've done everything. This particular document is for signatures to set up a bank account for this grant and these grant funds. As my understanding is, that there's no other purpose of this resolution but to set up signers or, because these have to be separated again because they are grant funding, that they cannot be commingled in any way with city funds. Now, I'm not sure, you guys may have more information, because I guess that was prior to me that most of this grant work took place.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah,
It was prior to me,
right, so Attorney Kerwin and I are working with no history.
So again, I see this is from the state and it says what we needed to do. And obviously it's saying that now this is the letter of authority for the grants, for money to be spent. So that means the contractors who are gonna do the work can now submit invoices to do this, and this.
Right,
This is saying the resolution is for the people who do these signatures on this particular grant.
right.
And I guess our questions are, do we have everything we need to move forward, or do we need to postpone this?
I can tell you there are invoices coming in from the engineers that need to be paid. Now, whether or not, as we said, we can't pay them until we set up an account to pay them the grant funds out of. So if it is a chance of the signature, or just we don't like the signatures, and maybe we could change those signatures, or who has signature authority on this grant, then I think we could go back to them and let them know that city council wants these other 4 people, or these 2 people, or 3 people.
I think there just needs to be some clarification. I don't think maybe we could
would it help if after the now therefore, the 2 sections after that reflected just opening up signatory accounts? Because they state a little more than that.
I mean, again, part of,
Is this the grant, which grant is this?
for Alta Vista,
The 325,000?
350.
Yes.
350? Okay, it looks like you have the paperwork now, like you were mentioning, to open up your bank account.
Yes, that's what this document does. It
Okay.
gives the city the authority to put a bank account in place.
Right, but my question is, do you know who is the grant coordinator?
Which is, those are
For
the
this
questions, those are the questions we have, and so, whereas I think council wants to move to help the city to be able to get any grant funds we can, we're saying that we don't have information on